right? Letter 2. Let's get started now. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Thanks. Let's begin. Look farther ahead.
Thank you. Right? Now, first of all, well, thank you for being here. Without a doubt, I'm going to be subjected to a barrage of questions. Mr. Sanchez Patan is currently under investigation in a case that might have some kind of connection. Or could any of the questions he would be required to answer as a witness have an impact on that case? That's why he asked me to be present. I am here as his legal counsel. This is not at all a usual situation, but I am very inclined to... Let's see what you all think about it and then make a decision before starting your questioning, okay? Mr. Prosecutor, the only thing I ask is that you be very brief because I am going to ask you. Yes, for my part, I have no objection, given the uniqueness of the case. We have no objection to the lawyer being present. Neither do we.
Well, for my part, yes, Your Honor. I believe that the law should be applied in the same way as in any other procedure. And for that, I understand that Your Honor has tools, as you have shown, to limit our questions. And of course, we are warned not to ask any questions that could be relevant, but we do object in order to ensure strict compliance with the law.
Is that okay, Your Honor? There's no problem, right? No problem. No problem, Your Honor. If it were a vote, the no objection position would win by a large majority. No objection at all. I know this is a very exceptional situation, but I also understand the reasons the witness gives for requesting that his lawyer be present. I have no objection. Let him in. Thank you. One more next to him if you want. Yes. The only thing I ask of you, please, is that any intervention be very discreet. Yes, yes. Well, yes. Of course, yes. Mr. Morin, there is no objection. It's just that there's a lawyer from Barcelona. All right. The reason you are here is because at a certain point we are conducting an investigation, which you are perfectly aware of, and at a certain point the person under investigation is Mrs. Lire Diaz. Yes. At a certain point you are aware, at a certain point of the investigation, you know perfectly well and well, the idea is to see what happened in those meetings. Certain... I'm telling you because Mrs. Diaz investigated. It was discussed in a recording that she was your right-hand person when you were Secretary of Organization of the Socialist Party. And that, well, she spoke. It has also been heard in some recordings that the President of the government, Mr. President of the government, was then Secretary General of the Socialist Party, had ordered a thorough cleanup to be done. As a consequence of a series of, well, clandestine investigations that had been carried out in relation to him and, I think, with some of his father-in-law's activities. But all of that has led to an investigation that we are conducting regarding some meetings that Mrs. Diaz had with with a prosecutor and with a businessman, and within that context, that's when you come up, and in some way we're very interested in knowing what happened in that matter. Of course, although a witness must answer all questions asked, in the case that you, for any of the questions that you are required to answer, are obligated to respond. Well, if the answer could be harmful to you in any lawsuit you are involved in any legal case, then of course you would be excused from answering them. I can't do anything else for you. That being said, yes.
If I may clarify, I'm not sure if I or Mr. Key should do so, but I have information to provide to the court about what Your Honor just said. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure if... Let's see. He intended to invoke Article 520 and Article 24 of the Constitution because he is currently under investigation in at least 3 proceedings as far as we know. One of them is the special case, which today has declined jurisdiction, the special case 20.775/202 pending before the Supreme Court, which has just withdrawn precisely in favor of Central 2. And another is a separate case, secret, which is also separated from this one, that is, so we can assume that he is also being investigated in it without knowing its scope. We know this because we also have the court order that was issued about it at the time, and the press information which we also provided in case it was necessary, in which it is stated and reported that this case remains secret. In addition to a third proceeding being handled here by Court 24, I think it's for Actioid, in which not only is he being investigated, but all the proceedings are interconnected. So we understand that this proceeding is part of a, let's say, complex picture that is a web of proceedings with the same tactical objective. So any statement made will surely be used against him in any of these cases, especially in the one that is under seal. Therefore, Mr. Santos requests either in being allowed to exercise his right to remain silent or in having the proceedings suspended until the secrecy is lifted and it is determined what the subject of that proceeding is, in which he is surely under investigation, because it is a split-off part of the case in which he is officially under investigation. The corresponding court orders are provided as documents 1, 2, and 3. The first court order is from September 23, 2025, where his status as a person under investigation is stated. The second is the severance order, which is from October 31, 2025, and the report in El País, which the National Court declares secret. The investigation into the payments by the PSOE, the so-called illegal financing of the PSOE, during the period when he was the Secretary General of Organization Secretary.
You know perfectly well, each proceeding has its own subject matter. This one was very well defined, at least that's what I intended, that it was very well defined, although I see that I have difficulties with my own self-restraint. Therefore, in principle, the facts being investigated here do not necessarily have to be theoretically related to the other case. If you could, as it is possible that you might have it, that's why I'm going to grant you, of course, the right not to answer, but to the question, to questions, that he considers or even assumes or suspects could be related and whose answer could harm him in regard to the other proceedings. As of today, he is here as a witness, he is required to answer, and the only thing we are going to do is provide that safeguard, that exception, which we do for his defense, to guarantee his defense.
Regarding the second possibility, that it be suspended until the secrecy of the case is lifted.
I don't see any reason. I'm telling you honestly, just as I have accepted your presence, we will accept everything else. As of today, he is here as a witness. And as long as we don't know the questions they're going to ask him, just imagine. There might be a question that has absolutely nothing to do with it, just imagine.
We'll know that afterwards.
We could ask him, for example, how many years he's been in the PSOE, even though that has nothing to do with the proceedings. That question would be required. I'm just giving an extreme case. Therefore, until we know the questions they ask him, we don't know whether they might be related or not. And in any case, does your presence sufficiently guarantee your impartiality, so to speak, regarding the submission of the documentation? With pleasure, we will do it later. Without further ado, the public prosecutor has the floor.
Yes, with your permission, Your Honor. You know Lera Diaz Castro, I understand, right?
Thank you.
Yes, I know her. I know her.
We're not friends. I just know her.
You just know her. Have you had a professional relationship with her, such as hiring her or having her do any work for you?
None. None, sorry. Excuse me?
How long have you known her, and how did you meet?
Well, the late journalist introduced her to us so we could have a meeting in Faraz. When? In 2024?
Pedro, do you mean Patricia?
Patricia Lopez.
When was that meeting and what was its purpose?
It was early 2024. I think it was April.
Yes. What was the purpose of that meeting? What was discussed with Patricia?
Patricia asked us for a meeting because they were going to bring us some information that affected the Socialist Party. That's why we had that meeting, and several people were present.
Who were the people present?
Well, besides Lady Diaz herself, Mr. Dolcet was there, Alberto Cacinero from the party's legal services, Antonio Hernando was there, and I don't remember who else was present. Besides myself, obviously, there were several other people.
So the person who contacts you there is Patricia then?
I can't recall if it was with me or the legal services.
She tells them she has relevant information.
That might be of interest to us, yes.
When do they attend the meeting? What happens there? What does she offer? She goes with Larry Diaz Castro, right, Patricia?
I don't remember if Patricia went into the meeting, if Mr. Doucet and Mrs. Diaz went in.
Until that moment, you had no contact with them, neither Doucet nor Larry Diaz? No.
None.
But did you know them? No. No. But did you have any information, even if it was from the press, about Mr. Doucet, who was a businessman? Never.
I had never spoken with Mr. Doucet, never.
When you get to the meeting and see them, what do they say? Who are they?
How do they introduce themselves? They introduce themselves. And, well, he tells us that he is someone who has been working on your case for years, that he feels good, that he has the Villarejo recordings, and that in those audios, well, there's stuff on everyone. We know about the Prime Minister's father-in-law's saunas.
So Pérez Doucet is the one saying it?
I don't remember who said it.
No, I'm telling you because of what was said about working for your cause for years.
I don't know if it was Mrs. Diaz or Mr. Doucet, no. But I understand it was a rather informal meeting. There were people standing. We weren't sitting there in a meeting.
You were the Socialist Party's organization secretary then?
In 2024, yes.
Since when were you an organization secretary?
June 2020 to June or July 2021.
At that time, I didn't know about the positions that Ms. Diaz-Castro had held as director of philately at the Correos Group and later at Inusa through Mr. Abalos.
Well, I had no knowledge of or acquaintance with Ms. Diaz-Castro until that day.
So I ask you, when you see them, do you ask where they came from, if they are journalists, if they are gathering information?
Mr. Doucet introduced himself saying that he already had Mr. Villarejo's recordings, that they were all with the justice system, and that they had been handed over. By the way, he didn't show us anything that wasn't already known.
But did he actually provide any USB drive, any recording, any notification?
Or just, well, what was discussed, there wasn't anything new for the party's legal services.
Did you know during the meeting or only after it ended?
After the meeting ended. Before the meeting, I didn't know what they were going to talk about.
Exactly. But that's why I'm asking. When you get to the meeting, what do you think they're discussing?
It was just information that could interest us, and the meeting happened. That's it.
Did he tell you it was related to that, to the family of the Prime Minister?
No, I don't think so. Not when it was over the phone. No, I just think it was information that might interest us.
Did you agree she would provide it and you would pass it on? I'm not sure.
I'm telling you that it was already left in the hands of the party's legal services, and what they conveyed was that there was no new information in what they had passed on there.
I imagine you would go to the party's legal services. You would be the one who was there with them.
They were there. Mr. Alberto Cacinero was there, who is the head of the
legal service. Afterwards, what did you talk about with him? Did you talk about anything with Alberto Cinillo?
About what did you... No.
Because yes, I contributed.
If I had contributed. Because yes, it's true that I was the secretary of organization, but I wasn't in charge of legal services because I also don't have any legal knowledge. And there's a legal affairs department, and Alberto Cacinero, who is the boss, was there. And also in that meeting, Mr. Antonio Hernando was with us, who also has legal knowledge, and I don't.
You said the meeting was in early 2024. Could it have been April?
I think it was around April.
So do you remember if...
No. I checked my schedule and I don't have it in my schedule, and I'm not going to lie to you. I saw that it was April too, because I read it in the press. But if you tell me it's March, then maybe it's March. Not remembering doesn't mean you have it exactly.
You don't remember if it also didn't coincide with those days when the Prime Minister... I don't remember.
But I read it was those days. But you don't remember. No, because I didn't give the meeting much importance. Because I insist that the information they gave us was information that was already known. Even when discussing the recordings, they were ones previously aired by some media outlet.
You also didn't tell the Prime Minister that these people had offered compromising information.
No.
From that moment on, did you continue to have contact with Lera Diaz?
No, not until it all came out at the end and he resigned from the Socialist Party.
At no time.
He hasn't been my right-hand man.
He hasn't been your right-hand man, no. Have you spoken with her afterwards? About this, about telling her how he presented himself as her right-hand man?
If you've had contact. I spoke with her on the phone once I got out of prison because she called me to show her support and to see how I was doing. Nothing more, but it was a conversation.
So at least you had each other's numbers?
Yes, I have her phone number.
Do you know if she had any connection with the Socialist Party, if she was a member, or if she had held any position?
She told us there she was a Socialist Party member. Actually, I didn't even know she had been a councilwoman in District 2.
You didn't know? No. So at no time was any request made to you, neither by her nor by anyone else? No. Do you know Mr. Del Rivero? No. The businessman? No, she doesn't know him. She has never had any contact. Do you know that he called a meeting with my prosecutor, Mr. Ignacio Estampa?
I read it in the press, but I didn't have any information. I read it in the press.
You've never met him? You didn't even have his phone number?
I've never met him, don't have his phone number, and never gave him mine. I have no messages or WhatsApp contact with Mr. Rivero.
Do you know Mr. Estampa? Have you had any relationship with him?
None. I don't know him personally, not by phone, nothing at all.
So no offer could have been made to you in exchange for giving information or on my part?
No.
On your part, no. Have you had any other meetings? Hamlin with Mr. Alejandro Hamlin? No. Connected via Dubai? No. No. So you had this meeting with Lair and Mr. Pedro Ser and you never heard from him again? Did you later speak with Mr. Hernando or anyone else to find out if it was true that this information...
Mr. Hernando is the one who said that he already knew that information, and that they had it, that there was nothing new.
What was he talking about? When he says that, do you know what they mean?
Yes, we were talking about the information regarding the president's saunas.
And that they could have more information about that or related to that?
No, just what they talked about in that meeting. By the way, I think I went out several times to make phone calls because people were calling me about other things. So you understand how the meeting was, that it wasn't really a meeting?
Yeah, it wasn't a formal meeting. I mean, nobody even took notes or anything.
The information that was given, well, you understand, when Antonio Hernando arrived, Mr. Hernando, because he was experienced, he had also been with the organization for many years, along with some of the legal services team, and they said it was information they already knew, that it had been handed over to the justice system, and that there was nothing new they contributed in that meeting.
But I imagine that for that you would have to see what they were contributing.
Yes, they mentioned it, but I don't know now. I didn't take any document.
That is, you never saw any document, you don't know what was on one side, nor do you know what was on the other.
No. Once they told me the party already knew, it was handed to the justice system, and it was known information. I didn't say anything else. Because
the information was clearly serious.
Yes, but it wasn't new information. For you it was? No, we had heard that long before.
But did you get to see anything they had so you'd know it was the same?
I don't see anything.
I don't see anything? I asked them where...
They said the Villarejo recordings.
The Villarejo recordings. No. No one asked them how they got them.
No, he says he had them and handed them over to the justice system, that they were already with the justice system.
Had the Socialist Party made any payment to Lara Diaz Castro? No. In those years already, in 2023, 2024? No. Do you know specifically what she was doing during those years after she left those positions?
No.
Did she say she was a journalist or mention doing investigative work?
She said she was a journalist, too.
She said she was a journalist. Did she say she worked for a media outlet or anything? No. And could her information have come from there?
No. I don't remember her saying anything like that.
So at no point have you had a close relationship with Lara, nor have you asked her to do anything?
I haven't asked for anything, Mrs. Diaz.
And have you had any contact with Mr. Estampa?
I don't know Mr. Estampa.
Do you know Mr. Pedro, sir?
I think I saw him once at a journalist gathering because he was an acquaintance of my chief of staff. We just greeted each other.
So you know him as a journalist and never had any further relationship with him?
Way before all of this, yeah.
Mr. Grinder doesn't know him either.
No, I don't know him.
But were you at least aware of the problems he had in connection with those cases as well?
What I've read in the press?
What you've read? No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you very much. Very well. If you would be so kind as to identify yourselves.
With your permission, Javier María Pérez Roldán and Miguel Ángel Pérez, attorney for Axtehuir. Let's see. In response to questions from the public prosecutor, you said that you met Lara Diaz in 2004? No.
I didn't say in 2004.
In 2024? Didn't you have meetings with her before these dates?
No.
Didn't you, for example, meet with her on January 20th, 2021 at the Danchari restaurant on Ventura Rodriguez Street?
I don't recall meeting her.
How many meetings, these meetings you say you don't remember the date of, but that could have been in April. Was it one meeting or were there 2 meetings on 2 consecutive days?
I think there were 2.
I want the witness to speak a little louder.
Excuse me. Thank you.
And how long did each of the meetings last?
I don't remember. I've already told you that during the meeting I left several times to take phone calls because my office is right next to the meeting room.
Who organized or who invited each of the attendees to the meeting?
I don't recall who sent the invitation, but it was employees there at headquarters.
Well, let's see. Are you the one calling him? Did you call Patricia? Did you call her?
I don't remember if it was directly from me. I don't know if it was from me or from the workers there at headquarters, and we prepared the meeting. If it was those days, I've tried to remember, but if it was those days in April, well, those were also very turbulent days within the organization.
But when the meeting starts, what happens? Do you just gather whoever you see around Ferraz, or did someone have to call them together? You can't say who called them since several people attended, as you mentioned.
Yes, I told you several were even standing. It wasn't a formal meeting, as I said. It's not just anyone passing through. We're talking about the 5th floor of Ferraz, where the legal and radio assistants work.
Was the meeting on the 5th floor or the 3rd floor?
On the 5th.
And is that where your office is or where the 5th floor is? The 5th. Let's see. Were you present at the start of both meetings?
Well,
no. Did you leave later because someone called you?
Yes, I was there from the beginning.
Let's see. Do you know in what capacity each person was there? Did you introduce yourselves and say, well, I'm here to present? No.
We don't know each other within the party.
Yes, but Mrs. Maria Perez Dolcet, right? You introduced yourself, right?
They needed no introduction. They came to tell us something, and the people were there. Can you offer an opinion?
Yes. And what concept, for example, or when he spoke, what did Mr. Cacinero talk about?
I don't remember.
So was it in the 1st or the 2nd meeting?
I think it was the 1st, but I'm not sure.
If what they were reporting was already known, was common knowledge, how is it possible that there were two meetings? In the first one, you could have just said, well, we all already know this, the workers, the recordings, so why did that second meeting take place the next day?
They wanted to give us more information when we asked, and they did, but it was the same.
Go ahead. And exactly, what can you tell us in detail about everything you've talked about? No, not in that way.
No, I can't give you details. I've told you that I don't even remember the exact dates. They told me it was April, so it was April 2004. If they told me March, then I would have doubts, and I can give you even less detail about exactly what we talked about. I insist they came to bring us some information, they told us the information, and I want to emphasize that this information had already been given to the authorities, those audios had already been handed over to the authorities, and that's what they passed on to us. There was no agenda for the meeting. Thanks.
For example, it was mentioned that there was an investigation or recordings, an illegal investigation against Pedro Sanchez that was specifically discussed.
I don't remember. They told us about the audios of Mr. Villarejo. Obviously, when someone talks about those audios, it's understood that they're not legal. That's what all the press has said. It's not just me saying it.
The audios were played for them, and then they listened to them.
No, I didn't mean they played the audios for us. They discussed Villarejo's audios.
Okay, but a moment ago you said they played it for you, and in response to questions from the public prosecutor, I have it written down literally, he didn't play us anything that wasn't already known.
Yes, because we talked about the audios that were already known, that we had heard in the media a long time before.
There was talk about numerous audios, do you know that?
No, not numerous audios.
Several?
Not numerous audios, no. I'm talking about an audio that came out in the media, specifically quite a few months or even years before. And since I didn't remember it, that's what the legal department told us.
Mr. Hernando, how long did it last? Do you remember how long the meeting you attended lasted?
No, I don't remember.
Do you remember if he was at the entire meeting or only part of it?
No, he was at the meeting, but I can't honestly say if he was there the entire time.
Was Juan Francisco Serrano present?
Yes, he was there for part of the meeting.
And do you know what he said in that meeting? Did he make any comments?
No, I don't remember, and I don't think he made any comments. Juan Francisco Serrano was my assistant. He was my right-hand man. There were no other right-hand men.
Since he was your right-hand man, did he attend the meeting on his own, or did you call him?
His office was next to mine, so I called him over.
Because how far in advance did you know that you were going to have a meeting, that someone was interested in meeting with you?
I'm not sure if it was the day or week before. I don't remember.
And do you remember the presence of Joan Antolin?
Honestly, no. I've heard in the press that he was there, but I don't remember seeing Antolin at the meeting.
Let's see. At some point, did Larry Diaz ever mention having a flash drive with all that documentation or all those recordings, or having them uploaded to the cloud or on Drive? Did he ever talk about that at any point?
What was unique is that he talked about the pen drives that existed. They were the ones that had been handed over to the justice system, and that the pen drives had been handed over to the justice system. The information they were giving us had all been handed over to the justice system through the flash drives. I don't know which ones.
And did he tell you the origin, how he got those recordings there?
No, from Mr. Villarejo, let's say.
And in that meeting, did only Ms. Lair speak, or did Mr. Dolce also speak?
Both of them spoke.
And do you remember anything about what Dolce said, or do you not remember?
No, I don't remember.
Do you remember meeting with Ms. Diaz again later in connection with the recordings, or did you not meet with her again? And did that incident not recur?
I did not meet with Ms. Diaz.
And on June 3rd, 2025, you were not there when she submitted her resignation, so to speak, as an ally?
I previously told the prosecutor I saw her again when she resigned.
Yes, and she didn't give you a USB drive there.
She gave a USB drive to legal services, who promptly passed it to the justice system.
And did you access it yourselves?
I didn't even touch it, actually, and I think if it was accessed, it can be technically verified. The legal services handed it to the justice system.
And did the person who gave it to you that day hand you the pen directly?
It was chosen by Mr. Alberto Cacinero.
But were you present? Yes.
Yes, I was present.
And what did he explain about that pen? Did it contain the same thing they had in April 2024?
No, what he said was that it was the work of his research and he wanted to justify his expulsion from the party, that we invited him to leave the party, that he had already done a research project and that all his work was there and he was giving it to us. We told him to give it to the authorities, but he insisted on giving it to us. And Mr. Alberto Cacinero took it and handed it over, I believe that same day, to the authorities.
Let's see, you mentioned to the public prosecutor, in response to the public prosecutor's question, that she introduced herself as a journalist, that she introduced herself solely and exclusively as a journalist.
No, she said she was both a party colleague and a journalist.
She didn't mention any position she held or post she occupied?
I don't remember.
Do you remember if during any of the conversations in those 2 days of reaction, there was any specific mention, for example, of Mr. Aldama? Was Mr. Aldama brought up at any point?
In none of them.
Was the judge removed at any point? Well, Castellón has already retired.
The only thing that was said is that Judge Garcia Castellón had the combs.
Nothing more than that?
Nothing more than that.
Does the name Commander Ruben Villalba ring a bell? Was he mentioned?
None.
Was there any mention of Coldo or Abalos?
No, we were discussing recordings unrelated to either of them.
When it was published, well, Mrs. Diaz made statements that she received instructions from you or that she was somehow your right-hand aide. Have you taken any kind of action, exercised your right to rectification, filed a civil lawsuit, or taken any legal action for those quote-unquote accusations made against you? No.
You haven't filed any.
One moment, please. We need to be much more specific. Saying that he's this man's right-hand man is not an accusation. Well, it doesn't mean it's a crime. Therefore, he doesn't have to do anything. Maybe just laugh. Maybe it's not necessary. Nothing is necessary. I ask that we be very, very specific about this.
Okay, technically to impute is to attribute, then we give it a criminal meaning that it didn't originally have.
But in the context of an investigating court in Madrid, to impute is something we all understand, and it has a clear, unambiguous meaning. That's why, yes, as a result of that, it's said, and so you didn't request the right of rectification, or you believed you had legal actions, even more so.
So, was there ever any mention of any open judicial proceeding, regardless of the one in the National Court regarding Villarejo's recordings? Was a judicial proceeding mentioned?
No. As far as I remember, no. What was discussed, I insist, were the recordings that were already known.
Let's see, the second meeting took place, supposedly, as you said, it was held to expand a bit on the information that had been offered in the first one, which wasn't new. What did they offer in the second meeting, and what new topics did they discuss compared to the first?
The same recordings. The same recordings, as I said. We did nothing else. That's where it ended.
But did both meetings last about the same, more or less, or...?
No.
No, but if they were the same, why wasn't it cut off immediately? No.
Well, I'm telling you, just to show you how interested I was, I went out several times to talk on the phone.
Did you report back, or did anyone talk to you about these meetings?
No.
Not then or later, when it all came out in the press, when you spoke with party members?
Well, when it came out in the press, we talked about many things, but we didn't talk about the meeting, nor did we talk about anything in that sense.
Since there are more colleagues, I have more questions, but I'll let others participate instead of asking them all myself.
If you would be so kind, please pass the microphone to counsel. Thank you.
Nuna Lozano, attorney from Astruir and also substituting for Justicia Europa. First of all, you mentioned the meetings in April 2024. Well, we believe it's April 2024. That there is no official call as such. That's right, there is no official invitation to the people who attended.
I don't really remember, but I don't think so.
At that time, you also referred to employees of the house. Antonio Hernando was working at the house at that time.
She referenced house employees and specifically mentioned legal services, citing Alberto Cacinero.
They also referred to the other members. Just to confirm, Antonio Hernando was an employee of the house by the house, if the witness can confirm it.
Since Hernando did not work at Ferraz.
So he was summoned by another means because he was not at Ferraz.
Antonio Hernando worked with the Socialist Party's legal department and knows it very well.
Perfect, thank you. Also, after that, there was one of the 2 meetings that Antonio Hernando presumably attended. After the meeting, do you remember speaking directly with Antonio Hernando?
I don't remember.
Regarding another meeting that you yourself mentioned in your statement, and about which questions have already been asked, the one on June 3, 2025. Do you meet with all PSOE members who resign or are expelled?
Those who resign, no. The ones whose expulsion I had to process, almost all of them.
You are at the limit, about to cross the line.
Then I'll stay within bounds. Thank you, Your Honor. Regarding the meetings in 2024, going back to April 2024, you say there were 2 meetings. Was the presence of all of them previously communicated to any superior?
No.
Do you know if Mr. Hernando communicated it to Moncloa?
I don't know. I don't know.
A few more questions. Was the Prime Minister and Party Secretary aware of the meeting?
I didn't inform him.
You didn't inform him. Do you know if anyone did? No. Did you talk about it in the room?
No.
During the statement of the suspects, Dolce and Lere, the idea of the Prime Minister's days of reflection came up as one of the triggers for that meeting. Was that mentioned in the meeting or meetings?
As I said, I don't really remember the dates very well, but if it matches those dates, of course, obviously it came up because it was something people talked about from morning until night inside the house.
Thank you very much. A few more questions. When you become aware of those recordings that you say are not new, but are relevant, given the situation, precisely those days of reflection that you yourself have mentioned, it was a topic from morning to night. Everyone was talking about it, but no one reported anything to Moncloa or to the Prime Minister.
The first thing I said is that I haven't given them anywhere. I think I said they were relevant, but actually they were just some audios, and I never used the word relevant at any time. Those audios, and during those days, nothing was discussed with the Prime Minister.
I'll continue. Did Lere Diaz write to you or contact you directly before the meeting?
I don't think so before the meeting.
And after?
I don't think so.
When are you being asked that question? Go on. We're talking about the meeting. Perfect. Not about the... Did the names of organizations or private prosecution groups come up in that meeting?
No.
And on the other hand, who gave security Dolcet and Lere's information so they could enter the Socialist Party headquarters?
Probably the administration services. No.
You said, may I refer to the previous witness? May I refer to the previous witness? Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Hernando stated that he was informed about this meeting through the organization secretariat's chain of command. You were the secretary of organization then. Did you give the order for Mr. Hernando to be informed about that meeting through meetings?
Within the organizational chart of the Secretariat of Organization, there is the Secretariat of Organization, the Secretariat of Municipal Policy, the Secretariat of Justice, the Secretariat of Administration, and the Secretariat of Press. That is the organizational chart.
Okay, I'll repeat the question. Did you give the order for Mr. Hernando to be summoned to that meeting?
I don't think so.
Did you order Juan Francisco Serrano to be summoned?
I insist. Juan Francisco Serrano regularly attended meetings with me. I never had to call or order him. He came and went from my office freely.
Mr. Hernando has indeed mentioned the presence of John Antolin. I'm sure you don't remember anything about his presence there. He mentioned it a few minutes ago.
Yes, he mentioned it, but I don't remember.
Another point I'd like to ask you about. Have you ever used the expression number one?
No, never.
Yeah. I'm almost done and won't take much longer. Has the Socialist Party or even the government provided any kind of logistics, information or data content to Lair or Pérez Dolcet?
No, no.
On the other hand, was Nervis Villalobos discussed at any point in that meeting? Or meetings, I insist. I don't know who Nervis Villalobos is. That's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Señoría, muchas gracias. Buenos días, señora Cerdán. Voy a tratar de no repetir lo que ya he dicho y matizar alguna cosa. Sí, perdón. Soy Marta Castro, letrada de Partido Político Vox. Ha contestado que no sabe quién avisó al señor Hernando para acudir a la sede del PSOE y que se... One day in advance para... Sí, with my statement.
I didn't say it was one day in advance. I don't know if it was one day or several days. I vaguely remember the meeting, so I can't recall if it was one day or two or three. I don't know.
All right. Mr. Dolcet and Ms. Diaz's entry into PSOE, I suppose, is recorded in the entry logs for obvious security reasons. Is that so? Do they keep records?
I'm not sure if they're kept, but I think so.
In both meetings, you said who you remembered was at the first and second meeting? Maybe I didn't hear it well. Who was at the second meeting the next day?
It's just that I don't remember distinguishing between the first and the second. I can hardly tell you that so-and-so was at the first one and others were at the next one. There were two meetings, but I don't remember exactly who attended each one. Whether they changed, someone new arrived, or someone was missing.
Do you remember if Mr. Hernando left after 20 minutes in the first meeting?
I don't remember.
How did people participate in the meeting?
I insist that it was a meeting at a long table, that most of us were standing, and people were coming in and out. Who
was leading the meeting? Who was presenting and who wasn't?
They simply presented, and when they arrived, they were asked what they had, and they started to talk about what they had, those audios that talked about the president's father-in-law.
Did you or anyone at the meeting tell them you already had them and already knew about it?
I don't remember. I think it was mentioned in that meeting, but I can't recall who said it. They were discussing something already known, not anything new. I even think it was said that those audios had been heard in the media.
And you don't know who said that?
I don't remember.
Were you already aware of those audios and their content? In that meeting, were you aware that they knew about them?
A long time ago, I had heard about those audios in the media.
Do you remember exactly when you first learned that information?
No.
Did Mr. Caccinero present you with any report about the analysis of those audios and the possible consequences they could have? No. Do you know who gave instructions to Mr. Hernando to speak with the lawyer who was handling the case before the National Court? Whether it was Mr. Hernando or the legal services or whatever, I don't know.
I'm saying that Mr. Hernando collaborated with the party's legal services. I wasn't the head of the legal services, even though they fell under my area of responsibility. Also, due to my lack of knowledge about legal matters, I didn't handle them myself.
No. She answered that she did not pass on the information about these two meetings to President Sánchez. Between you and Mr. Hernando, did you talk about this meeting? What did you do with them? Or did you even mention it to Mr. Caccinero?
If we're talking about the days when the president was, absent for several days, nobody spoke with him. None of us spoke with him. I didn't have any communication with him. And during those days, I spoke a lot with Mr. Hernando and with party colleagues about the situation we were experiencing. We probably talked about the years, but telling me that they didn't tell us anything new. What they did tell us was vague. It wasn't the most important thing we had on the table at that moment, just so you understand. That meeting wasn't given much importance because, well, the circumstances were different.
When, after those days, those audios came out in the media again, didn't you all consider, being in such a sensitive situation, talking about it or reconsidering it? Maybe some kind of strategy or what you would do if those audios came out?
No. Thank you.
Thank you. You've said that you didn't know Mr. Dolcet, and that day I read about her.
I met Mr. Dolcet that day.
That day, and you met Lera.
I knew of Lera, but hadn't met her.
You also know, because of your closeness to Mr. Vicente Fernandez, that Lera was very close to him. Did you learn about Lera through Mr. Vicente Fernandez?
The proceedings are under seal. There is a confidential procedure carried out by... All right.
Your Honor.
It should be noted that Mr. Santos Fernandez is here as a witness to clarify whatever he can regarding some meetings he had with the person under investigation. Lera here with the person under investigation and not with the experts. The experts always ask me. We have no suspicion against him in this matter, in this investigation. None. And he's clarifying a bit what he remembers. Memory can be inventive. For everyone. And well, that's just how it is. So please, let's stick to that.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. About later on, and as one of the attorneys who spoke before me has already asked about whether, when you found out that Ms. Lair Diaz was telling third parties that she was your right-hand woman and you had Larry's phone number, did you call her to clarify it, or does anyone know? Or did you give instructions to prevent this from happening, or to prevent people from trusting her and thinking she was speaking on your behalf?
I saw that in the press, but I assure you, you might be surprised by the number of colleagues who claim to be my right-hand person. I can tell you about 5 or 6 right now, who I know said in conversations, I am Santos Cerdán's right-hand man. Others in roles like the Socialist Party's organization secretary surely experienced the same thing.
And is that why you decided not to do anything about it?
No, I didn't do anything.
Well, I'm finishing up, Your Honor, because I believe that at some point in those meetings, did you say or hear anyone say that there needed to be a clean-up, control, stopping investigations, or talking to lawyers or judges who were involved in those investigations?
I never said that at any time, nor did I ever hear anyone say that anything like that needed to be done.
Well, I suppose that you... Well, actually, I don't suppose anything. The question is, do you know... You have said no, but do you know if anyone from the party or someone close to the party, even if they weren't directly involved, asked you to compile an investigative report on cases or profiles?
I don't know. I haven't done it.
No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. I already told you it was going to be next door.
Yes.
I mean, counsel, you're here for the PP party, right? The Popular Party.
Popular Party. Good morning, with your permission, Your Honor. I'm going to ask very few questions. I'm the last one to ask questions. And this has given me the privilege of trying to revisit things that have been said and try to tie up loose ends that, in my opinion, have been left unresolved. To recap the beginning of these meetings, you first said Patricia, may she rest in peace, called you, but then you said you don't remember if it was her. Did I let you?
No, it's just that...
I want
you to understand, I don't remember because most of the information I have is from what I've read in the media. Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't have the ability to remember some things, and I think you know about the processes I've gone through in recent months, and it's also hard for me to remember some things because of my condition right now. Thank you, thank you. I consider myself to be in full possession of my faculties.
Yes, I understand, and I'm very sorry for the personal situation you're in, but first you said that Patricia called you, and then you said you don't remember if it was Patricia. Did you say that first because it was the first thing you thought of?
No, because I'm telling you that from what I've read several times in the press, I know they're saying that it was Patricia who organized it. And honestly, I think it had to be that way, because at that time, I did have Patricia Lopez's phone number. I didn't have Mr. Dose's or Ms. Lair's phone numbers.
All right, so let's say it was Patricia, but you can't recall if it was with you or someone else.
No, I don't remember exactly, no.
Therefore, let's assume it was with you. You decided that a meeting needed to be called. If that were the case, someone would tell you, since you were called to the Socialist Party meeting.
Well, I insist the meeting was held on the 5th floor. The people who were at the meeting...
I didn't ask about the floor. I'm asking something specific, but you keep repeating what interests you. I asked who called the meeting.
I don't remember.
You're not questioning the testimony?
Your Honor.
At the right time during arguments, you can say what you want. But right now, you're here as a witness, and you must answer our questions. If you have any doubts, then file a complaint against him. And in the meantime, first finish your questioning.
Yes, I'm trying to get you to tell me who called the meeting. And you tell me it was on the 5th floor. No, I want to know who called the meeting.
He has said what he has said. If you don't believe it,
it is
a topic that you have...
That it is the witness's obligation to cooperate with the justice system and answer the questions that are asked.
Not to answer with I think or I believe. That is not allowed.
It's because he told you. It's because he doesn't know.
All right, so you had no involvement in convening it?
I didn't say that.
Did you say you don't know?
One thing is not knowing, and another thing is saying you weren't involved. I'm not sure if I was the one who convened it.
All of this is a macabre game in the court of law. I mean, I remember I wasn't there. Yes, I was. This isn't serious, in my opinion, with all due respect.
Look, Counselor, I'm not trying to... My job here is to make sure this statement is limited to the facts under investigation, and also the person giving testimony is appearing as a witness. We have no suspicion about this witness. In other words, if there were any suspicion about this witness, it would be at the end of the statement that you would have to raise it or place it on the record. Anyway, I also remind you that this gentleman, Mr. Santos Cerdán, someone asked me to have him come as an investigator. I think it was the act of going, and I haven't accepted it.
Therefore,
let's allow him to finish his statement in the way he sees fit. Or if you have any kind of, doubt or, then let me know and I will make a decision. But in the meantime, I don't want the witnesses to be harassed. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. As I was saying once again, so you called the first meeting, yes or no?
I don't remember.
Did you call the second one or not?
I don't remember.
All right, if it wasn't you, who could it have been?
Well, someone from the organizing team.
And in that hypothetical scenario, would someone from the organizing team tell you that you had to go to that meeting?
I don't remember. No, that's not what I'm saying. You're twisting it. No.
No, I'm asking. No.
No, you're not asking. You're trying to interpret something that doesn't make sense.
Well, it may not make sense to you. Yes, you're answering and I'm asking. Who decides which person goes to each meeting?
The people who were there in the meeting were the ones who normally have meetings every day at 9 in the morning. The same people were called, except for Mr. Antonio Hernandez. The rest of us meet every day at 9 in the morning.
So they didn't need to be called specifically. That's my view.
Mr. Hernandez, except for Mr. Hernandez Lear.
And Mr. Antolin also met with you every day.
Mr. Antolin, yes.
In the Socialist Party, it's common for an outsider to meet with whoever is present.
No.
It's not customary. This was exceptional.
It's just that they didn't just happen to be there. They're assuming they just happened to be there. No, when he says they were around there, I understand he's referring to Mrs. Lear and Mr. Lear.
Well, answer who called whom and why.
Well, I told him I don't remember.
All right. I don't recall who led those meetings.
Well, I was the secretary for organization.
One moment, Juan. It's just that, from my point of view, you're steering this off track. But what we're trying to determine is whether Mrs. Laird Diaz's statement regarding that meeting is credible or not. Not what this gentleman says. What this gentleman says may or may not corroborate Laird Diaz's version. We need to ask this gentleman about the statement made by the person under investigation. Not about what he did or didn't do, because as of now, I have no indication that would make me suspect him. Therefore, I don't know if I made myself clear. What we need to do now is determine whether Laird Diaz's version can be corroborated, which says that she came as a journalist to offer an investigation. That there was so-and-so, I don't know who else, however many others, and so on. I understand that to you, that statement, that version doesn't seem believable. That's perfectly logical. But the point is to corroborate that version, not about cornering the witness regarding what he did or didn't do in that meeting. Let me see if I can explain myself correctly. You have the floor.
Please.
Please follow my instructions since I am directing this.
Yes, I appreciate your instructions and direction. What I want is to know the origin of the meeting, and it's not clear to me, neither the content nor who presided over it. Well, I already asked Azuer's lawyer about the content of the two meetings. You told us that you don't remember. In the first one, apparently, they talked about some audio recordings. Is that right from Mr. Villarejo? But it seems they were not played there. Is that correct?
They talked about Mr. Villarejo's audio recordings. I insist, when they talked about the content, it was some news and some audio recordings that were already known by for example, by Mr. Name. Before speaking, he already knew about them.
All right, what was the content of those audio recordings, please?
They were talking about some saunas belonging to the president's father-in-law.
What was said about those saunas?
Well, I don't remember the content.
I don't remember, and yet apparently it was a matter of great interest to the party.
We felt reassured when they said the recordings had been turned over to the courts.
They call you and tell you that they have information that interests the party, and yet they offer you recordings related to saunas owned by the president's father-in-law.
Which were already known?
They insisted. Yes, we're not talking about whether they were known or not. I ask, what does this sauna business have to do with the Socialist Party?
Nothing.
Nothing. Therefore, since you had nothing to do with it, you go and have a second meeting to talk about the same thing again. I'm not convinced by your explanation for this second meeting. I would like to know what the reason is. But it was the same people, the same things were discussed, so why call a meeting when the first one was unsatisfactory? Because they told you something we already knew.
It was a second meeting, even though everything we contributed in the first one was already known. If everything that was stated, if everything that was being contributed was already known, it's already been said over and over again.
All right, as the Secretary of the Revolution, do you have any record that his expenses would be paid by the Socialist Party?
No.
Do you not know, or have you not been paid?
I have no knowledge of it.
No knowledge. Well, how did Mr. Pedro Ser know that you had undergone surgery and that you were recovering from an operation?
When did Mr. Pedro Ser say that? Was it said in the statement?
In 2025, in July, this man underwent surgery.
But I think it's irrelevant.
Well, it's just that he said he hasn't spoken to anyone again. I mean, if it's about finding out that there's a plot here and the plot is just a meeting where they talk about things that have already been said.
Del Olmo said it. In fact, it doesn't fit in the scale. Yes.
But Del Olmo said it's not Del Olmo, it's Olmo. He said he already knew because someone had told him.
Well...
I ask you, did Mr. Dolcet know if you had undergone surgery?
Let's see if we can focus on the situation properly. I'll say it again, and for the last time. You can ask the witness about everything that happened in those meetings. What the witness says may seem plausible to you or not. You may think or suspect that he is lying. That is perfectly legitimate. When this gentleman finishes his statement, if you have any doubts about him, just let me know, and I will take the appropriate measures. But what I don't want is that, in the context of a procedure, of an interrogation, in which a person is obliged to answer. Because otherwise he would incur criminal liability if he doesn't answer due to disobedience. Well, you know, he would be accused. If he says he doesn't remember, he doesn't remember. You can believe him or not. And then you tell me that he lied because he does remember, and he does remember. Okay? Very well. Please.
Proceed. I'll finish up, Your Honor. Do you know why Lera, Diaz, and Ancho are not partners?
No.
Is that a matter of secret proceedings? That has nothing to do with the investigation we're conducting? Well, you used your...
arrival, and you're also taking for granted
that they are partners. Well?
That's unanswered. Also?
It's not considered impactful. He doesn't know. Please, who is going to stand in? Do any of you want to ask any questions? No questions, Your Honor. Thank you. I don't know, sir. That's just how it is. I forgot that in Barcelona there is a lawyer named Mr. Marcos Donmar. Mr. Marins. Would you like to question the witness? No, Your Honor. No questions. All right. Let's move on to the third one, then. The floor goes to counsel for Ms. Lair Diaz-Casillas.
With your permission, Your Honor. Mr. Fernandez Bueno, as Your Honor has already said, I am the attorney for Lair Diaz.
All right, just a couple of very simple questions. In those meetings where you were with Miss Leire and Mr. Javier Pérez Dolce, did Miss Leire at any point ask for anything in exchange for the information from anyone who was in that meeting?
Neither to me nor to anyone who was there. At least while I was present, and I don't think so because no one mentioned anything to me. Thank you.
All right. Did you give Miss Leire any assignment?
No.
Did you ask her to offer any kind of gift or inducement to any public official to do something on behalf of the PSOE? That had to do with those Villarejo audios and the information that was discussed in any of the meetings? No.
None.
All right. Are you aware of anyone other than yourself within the party or who was at that meeting offering Ms. Lear anything in exchange for information or asking her to do something on behalf of the PSOE?
I'm not aware of that.
You're not aware. Did you say that you didn't know Estampa at all?
I don't know him.
It's Mr. Estampa. All right.
Mr. Estampa, excuse me. Did you say that you didn't know Don Luis de Belgrimero either? I don't know him. All right. You've already said it, but just to be clear, have you ever asked Ms. Lair to identify herself as your right-hand woman? Or have you authorized her, or done or said anything from which she could have inferred that she could identify herself as your right-hand woman?
I don't understand why she said that. If she did say it, I don't know why she said it because she hasn't been, isn't, and has never been my right-hand woman.
All right, she hasn't said it. The press says she said it. In any case, she supposedly said she was the PSOE's right-hand woman in a video we couldn't see.
All right, in any case, you haven't given Lyra any assignment or asked her to offer anything to anyone, nor have you given her the authority to offer something to someone in exchange for anything. Is that correct?
No. All right, then I have no further questions.
Javier Dolce. Buenos días, muy breve.
At the beginning, Javier said in the meeting that he had been working for years on his case with the Villarejo audios. Did he present himself as a victim of Villarejo? Yes. Okay, and have you had any contact with Javier Pérez Doncet, with Mr. Pérez Doncet after that meeting?
I ran into him once at a cafe. Maybe someone takes a picture in a cafe. I think it was near the Congress building, and he was there with his wife. He introduced her to me, I greeted her, and we didn't talk any further. I haven't spoken to him again.
He hasn't had any contact either?
No, I just want to clarify, since it's a public place, someone might say they saw us.
That's what I need to talk to him about.
Well, thank you very much, sir, for being here. We'll sign a document confirming everything said has been recorded. How did it turn out?
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
I'm waiting for your statement, and thank you to all the guests for your presence and participation.